I don't know. Hello, we are live.
Hello, we're live. How are you, Hannah Weinhold?
I'm very well, thank you, Rachel Weinhold. How are you, Rachel Weinhold?
I'm all right, thank you, Hannah Weinhold. Having a good snow day.
It's no joke, is it?
It's no joke. Everything's been cancelled. There's snowballs going on tonight. It's terrible.
Snowballs.
Hey, well.
It'll be all white though, won't it?
It'll be all right. Yeah, it'll be fine. Anyway, welcome to another edition of FFS. We've missed a couple of these lately because, life, busy. But we're back once again with the Renegade Master. We're not going to do...
Default damaging with the ill behaviour.
Yeah, with the ill behaviour. Definitely the ill behaviour. We're not going to do the one that we actually scheduled for today. So for today, we had something in about small
Don't pretend we plan.
Yeah, well, it was quite frankly, it was boring. It was going to be boring as anything. So what we thought we'd do, because we had a Grow Traffic Roadshow that was supposed to be happening this evening, most of Lancashire, especially Accrington, where it's going to be, is under a foot of snow. People can't get anywhere. It's forecast to freeze shortly, so we have postponed it. And what we thought we'd do instead was do a little bit of a taster session of it today. So we're going to do a little bit of what is digital marketing and what might you learned if you did come on a Grow Traffic Roadshow. Yes. So Hannah, you probably knowed that already, didn't you?
Yes, because I'm very involved with what's happening in the rest of the business.
No, I mean, you knowed about digital marketing.
Oh yes, I knew that. Yeah, but yeah. I think it's good that we're doing this little kind of taster session because obviously we're doing it in Lancashire soon, but we are going to take it, as the name suggests, around the country like a good old-fashioned roadshow.
Yeah, like Noel's House Party Roadshow or the Radio 1 Roadshow. And all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, right.
Celebrities and big giveaways. None of that.
Yeah, none of that. No, you won't even win a cuddly toy. There's nothing.
You might win a cuddly toy. You could win.
You might. Anyway, Hannah Weinhold, what's your name and where'd you come from?
My name's Hannah Weinhold and I'm in Sheffield.
Woo! Anything good happened to you this week, Hannah?
Nope.
No. You have discovered you might have a bit of a nut allergy, though, haven't you? That's the opposite of good, but.
Well, I ate hazelnuts and my throat did a little swell. But then I ate them in dairy milk and it was fine. So that's all that really matters. I think it might be the shell. The not that I was eating it with the shell, the skin. Yeah.
Nice.
Dog agrees. There you go. What about you, Rachel? What's your name and where'd you come from?
Well, my name's Rachel Weinhold and I'm from Bacup.
Ooh. Yeah. And what anything good happened to you today, pet?
Well, the best thing really is the snow day. I've just been playing out with the ponies in the snow. So
is your child not at home? Is Leon not home then?
No. School is open. He's battled his way through the blizzards to get into school. There are 12 of them in, and he's one of the 12. He's very proud of that 100% attendance record. So no, he's not skiving.
Bless his little cotton socks. While the girls are off. So.
Oh, well.
So they're not here.
Hey. Oh, they're not there. Of course, yes, they're at your mother-in-law's, aren't they?
Yes.
Anyway, this is 3.5 minutes of us just having a nice little chat. So we'll probably get on to talk about what we're actually here to talk about, isn't it? So the Grow Traffic Roadshow, as I said, it's something that we're going to be putting on every kind of 3, maybe 4 months, and it will be going around the country. It is entirely free to attend. We're going to host them in places that have a bar, so you can come along, have a beer, and learn some digital marketing and a thing. So the Grow Traffic Roadshows will be held in conjunction with somebody, usually somebody who Grow Traffic has worked with in the past. Today's session was going to be with Gemma from Grow Your Mindset. So it is still happening. I don't want to give the impression that it won't happen, that it's cancelled. It is going to be postponed. But essentially, we will at some point be putting it on. It will be half about how to set your digital marketing goals. So you'll learn a little bit about what is digital marketing, what are all the different strands of it, and what questions do you need to ask yourself in order to plan your digital marketing goals. And then the same thing from a mindset mindset perspective. What is a growth mindset? Why does it matter to your business? And how do you set your mindset goals? And the idea of these roadshows is that all of these things will help you grow your business. So we do a little bit of planning, you do a little bit of goal setting, you learn about the different elements, and it helps you improve your business, grow your customers, grow potentially your staff, grow your revenue, whatever side of the business it is that you want to grow. So it's useful stuff. We even had a little workbook printed, so you can even fill out your little workbook and go away with your goals set for the year so that you actually get something out of it. And did I mention it's completely free?
Totally free. And I think that mindset is so important, because we all know that being in business is a very lonely place, even if you're doing it with friends or family. And it's very difficult to kind of take those inevitable knockbacks time and time again and learn from it and grow from it and kind of keep that positive mindset going. But like most of us understand the importance of that kind of laser focus on the goal and not being distracted by the stuff that, goes wrong, because stuff goes wrong all the time. A friend of mine, Nikki Thomas, said the other day, being in business is hard more than it's good. And I think that's kind of really resonated with me. So kind of looking at how you're going to grow your business, but how you're going to keep your head together whilst you're doing it is such a powerful combination. And I think they're going to make for some really excellent sessions along the way. Sorry.
Well, funnily enough, though, I was listening to I was on Thoughtickers Talkers the other day, and I was listening to a woman who's a psychologist. And she was saying, they were talking about the growth of anxiety. Everybody's anxious. Everybody's got, we're living in this mental health crisis. And she was saying, actually, when you think about it, all of the reactions that people have, we need to stop thinking about it as you've got something wrong with you and how do we fix it? Actually, when you look at society and what's happened with the COVID pandemic, and now we're in a cost of living crisis, everybody is reacting perfectly normally. It's a really stressful time. Everybody's struggling to pay their bills, and businesses are floundering and stuff, and that is a perfectly normal reaction, to get anxious about it, to worry about it, to not know how to see your way out of it. And so she was saying, actually, we've got to stop thinking of this as this is yes, we can heal people, yes, we can treat people, but actually we need to maybe accept that something is fundamentally wrong societally, and that's how we deal with the mental health crisis. But that's not easy, is it? It's easy to just blame everybody individually as how it's your fault that you're not coping.
And also, like, it's okay to talk about it more now, so you hear about it more. Like Victoria Wood said, if something went wrong, you kept gobshut and kept gobshut and turned up wireless. Yeah. And it doesn't just extend to gynecological issues. That's what it was like. And I think that's the thing about business as well. It was very kind of everything.
Leave your problems at the door.
Leave your problems at the door. You've got to project this image of being absolutely A-OK all the time and on it. And I just don't think it is anymore. And I think that's absolutely acceptable. That we do acknowledge how awful it is. And I don't think there's any accident that something like 80% of CEOs of FTSE 100 companies or something are psychopaths, because you can't bloody do it and have emotions.
No, it's absolutely, it's 100% true, isn't it? Most of our worries, especially once you start employing staff, that is the big part of your worry as a business. Yes, it's, how, practically speaking, how do we pay the wages, obviously, but also it's are they all right? Is everybody okay? How do we make sure everybody is okay? If they're not okay, what do we need to do? It's mental health is huge, but also I think that growth mindset from a business perspective as well, because it is really easy as a business owner. And I know this is 100% my tendencies. If I will stay in my happy little lane, if we found something and we're all okay and it's working and it's fine, I will just go along on those train lines forever and a day and never, say, oh, well, why don't we try doing this? Or why don't we bring this in? Or why don't we extend this out here and do this? Or, I'm just always like, no, we're okay. Nobody change anything. It's okay now. Nobody move. And it's really easy, especially if you are a sole trader, I think, to just have your little customer base and go along doing what you're doing and never think to grow. And actually, what you end up doing by default, if you are not growing, you are moving backwards. You're not standing still, because you're not preparing your business for what's coming around the corner. You're not preparing your business for the changes in your industry, or what happens if you lose that client. You know, have you got a client to replace them? So it's really, you know, crucial that you have a growth mindset as a business rather than just as a person.
As well, when you're doing marketing, quite often you fail and you learn from those failures. You know, we always say, when we do our 5 tips, we always say at the end, review and adapt, because things don't work. And half the time you're just kind of throwing out some, you know, hooks to see what catches. And when something catches, you do more of it. And when something doesn't, you stop doing that. And if you're doing something, if you're embarking on a marketing strategy, a growth marketing strategy, and you're not resilient and understanding that for every failure you have, there's a learning point of that, you kind of grow your knowledge and you grow your skill set, and you start to really refine your marketing activity. If you're not in that mindset, then it's just going to be a kick in the teeth time after time. And you know, it is really important that you kind of set out on a strategy, a marketing strategy, and acknowledge that this might not work. Based on the data, I think it probably will. However, people might not take to it, and that's okay. And it just takes you along the path of refinement.
I think that's the same for everything in business, though. When you look at, you know, how the biggest periods of evolution in business, in society, have always come out of adversity. You know, look at the seismic changes that happened after the Second World War, and we got the NHS and all the rest of it, establishment of a welfare state. You know, and now when you look at the way that business has changed coming off the back of the COVID pandemic, a lot of the things that we were doing all of a sudden didn't work. And we all had to start thinking, well, how are we going to change that? How are we going to make it work now? And a lot of the practices, we've gone back. You know, we've gone back to how we were, but a lot of the things we've kept, and it has changed the way that we do business. And so you kind of have to have adversity in order for things to improve and get better and evolve. And so, yeah, that's the thing. You've got to be able to personally survive that, and as a business survive that.
So what kind of things are you going to go through on the first roadshow at Accrington Stanley on a date TBC?
Who are they?
I don't know.
Yes. So the very first thing. So Gemma from Grow Your Mindset is going to do her sort of 20 minutes. So we've just touched on the sort of things that she'll look at. But from a grow traffic point of view, essentially what we're going to look at is how do we provide somebody with a digital marketing strategy in essentially an hour. So we've got a little bit of looking at what is digital marketing and why does it matter to your business, because quite often it's the thing that people forget. And then we've got some questions that we're going to pose to people. And as I said, they get a little workbooklet, they can actually sit down and work out what the goals are going to be. So the first thing I'm going to do is, to start with, Hannah, what is digital marketing? Define digital marketing for me.
Digital marketing is using online digital channels such as websites, social media, videos, audio, podcasting, etc., to increase your brand awareness, generate more sales, get advocacy from your customers. Sometimes you might be educating an audience that there's a new way to do it. It's basically marketing yourself digitally.
Yeah,
trying to not be.
And when the question of why is this important? Somebody actually asked me. Well, this is probably one of the most common questions we get asked. Is sort of, well, what's the point? Why do I need it? So there are kind of 3 main reasons as to why you need to think about digital marketing. So the first one is what percentage, Hannah, do you think of shopping occasions begin online?
Shopping occasions, shopping occasions. What percentage of all shopping occasions begin online? I would say like 75%.
It's between 70 and 80%, depending on whose study you look at. So absolutely. And you get a banana.
Hey.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, 70 to 80% of all shopping occasions begin online. And that is, the bigger the ticket item, the more likely it is that somebody's going to research it before they buy it. Obviously, if we're just talking about, a bottle of washing up liquid, you're just going to buy that off the hoof whilst you're in the shop. But if we're talking about a car or a house or finding a solicitor, a pony, anything like that, those are the types of things that you start online and you research. And between 70 and 80%, and that's even true, that kind of crosses the border, and particularly true when you look at B2C, but it's even true when you look at B2B, when people are looking for a company to work with, or they're looking for a new supplier potentially. They start that journey online, and people's shopping habits have changed. The way people engage businesses have changed, because once upon a time, we used a business that was personally recommended, or they'd been in the center of town for 40 years, or we went in the yellow pages or whatever. There was an element of trust there because we were aware of that business before we engaged it. Now, because we're all just going online and Googling stuff, that element of trust is not there. So it has to be built up in another way. And that is through digital marketing. That is with blogs. It's with your website. It's with your client reviews. It's with your social media pages, with your email newsletter. So there's loads and loads of statistics around this that prove it time and again. But basically, no matter what you're selling, B2B or B2C, people start online. A lot of people will start online.
And I think it's tempting to go, oh, well, I've got a shop. People will come into the shop and people don't want to buy small items online. But I will search for an item, if I'm looking for a jumper, something as innocuous as that, I'll look what that shop has got in it before I bother to get off my ass and go into it. And then I might not even buy then. I might go back and buy online so I can get cash back, or easier returns or something. There's all different sorts of ways now that people access your services. And even, something as daft as the other day, I was looking for a window cleaner. I started online. The window cleaner didn't have a website. Window cleaners don't have websites, but they've got Facebook customers and Facebook reviews and stuff. So even if your website, your business doesn't have a website necessarily, you still need to do digital marketing, because digital marketing is so much more than your website.
And I was speaking to somebody who had a bookshop, and he said, people come in and they look and they browse the books, and then they go home and they buy it on Amazon, or it actually said they'll buy it online. And I said, well, have you got a website? Like, no. So you're not even in the game. If all somebody cares about is price, then yes, they're going to go and they're going to buy it on Amazon. And that's just, a factor that you can't get around. But as you just said, people will buy online for many different reasons. Sometimes it's because they can pay on PayPal, or they can use the credit card. So they get, protections and cash back. They might want to be able to do the returns thing, all sorts of different reasons why people buy that way. And so if you have a shop and people are coming into your shop to browse things, and then they're going away and you suspect that they are buying it online, you need a website, you need a shop that they can buy your stuff online, because they might go and find it on Amazon and they might say, well, yeah, all right, it is, £5 cheaper, but actually it's coming from China. It'll take longer. I'm not sure if I can return it in the same way. I don't necessarily have the expertise. So they might well go back home and buy it online, but from your shop. So you still need to be in the race. If you don't have a website, you're not in the game.
And conversely, sometimes I will look for something online and then go and buy it physically, because I want to, actually touch it and look at it and put my big eye on it and see what it's like in real life.
Yes, absolutely. The second reason why digital marketing is important is because the buyer journey is changing. So we've just mentioned about that. The way people buy products has changed. They used to say it takes an average of 7 touch points, occasions where a customer encounters your brand before they buy. They do think that's gone up now, but it's still only, hovering between 8 and 9. So essentially, anybody who is going to buy one of your products, and again, the higher the ticket item, the more this applies, they need 8 or 9 touch points with your company before they will buy that. So they need to have seen you somewhere. They need to be able to recognize the brand. And that most of that journey actually happens online. When you look at the buyer journey, and I've got a beautiful slide, which if you come to the roadshow, you will be able to see my beautiful slide. And yeah, it's lovely. It shows you all of the different ways that somebody might engage with your company before they buy. And it is things like your website, it's things like your social media, it's things like your email newsletter. The vast majority of them now, of those touch points, are digital. They are happening online. It might occasionally be an advert that they've seen in a local paper, might occasionally be that they've heard you on the radio or they've met you at a networking event. But 9 times out of 10, they're going to engage with your brand online in some way. And certainly as they move along that buyer journey, those instances of online encounters become even more prevalent. So if you're not there, again, you're not even in the game, because they're buying these things. They're just buying them from somebody else.
And it's so delicate as well. Like when people are taking their first steps on that buyer journey, your reputation, the content that they come across, the quality of your touch points has got to be absolutely amazing, because at any point that trust is so fragile before they pick up the phone, before they really engage with you, before they kind of understand that you know what you're doing. It's so fragile that just something so small could break it. So, you know, a website that's not optimized for accessibility, for example, or even for mobiles, could break that trust. People might think, oh, you know, I'm not gonna bother with this. This company's got a much easier to understand website, or you know, a PDF that gives the wrong information, or an email newsletter that's spammy as hell. Like, there's that
now today, Google My Business Card.
Exactly. Like, that trust is so fragile that it's so important to map your buyer journey, and the real buyer journey, not the buyer journey that you think people are taking, and actually make sure that all your different touch points are really high quality and kept up to date, which is why digital marketing is about more than just, you know, getting more people to your website. It's about nurturing that trust through the buyer journey.
Yeah, and I mean, it's purely down to, this is what I always say to people when I'm talking to them about this sort of stuff. Think about how you shop, because I understand all of this, you know, all of this kind of how important reviews are.
Show off.
Yeah, I'm super good at all of this. But, you know, I understand this, and still I shop in the way that I shopped before. So, you know, if I read a bad review on something, I will go on to the next company, because I know that there is 100 more companies that will be supplying the thing that I want to buy. So one bad review, and I'm like, oh, that's them crossed off. It's like when you're, you know, reading CVs for job applications and they've got spelling mistakes in, straight away you're like, right, out, onto the next one, because you have so much choice now. We all do, and we make decisions like that. So it's got to be good. And that's not saying that, you know, every single review has to be 5-star. And if you've got a 1-star review, you remove it.
Yeah.
But it's just about dealing with them and enabling that overall picture to be shown. If you've got a lot of good reviews and then one bad, people will see that for probably that's a disgruntled client. But if all they see is bad reviews, then they're going to go, this is a scam, and moving on to the next one. So it's really important that you curate. And this is, again, where people forget, isn't it? They think it's just about what's on their website, and it's not, because only a tiny fraction of the engagement that people have with you will be on your website. A lot of it might be on Trustpilot or social media, or, like, say, your email newsletters, all sorts of other things. So yeah, just pay attention to it, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Point number 3, why is digital marketing important? You need to future-proof your business. So again, this is about, well, there's 2 sort of components to this. So the first one is that companies that implement digital marketing strategies tend to have a 3 times higher growth than those that don't, and they have a 3 times more chance of expanding their workforce. So those companies that are online doing all of this stuff, they grow faster and they employ more people, because they are out there raising their brand awareness, getting new customers, doing all that stuff. So that's that. But also the other thing is that because of the way search is going, and because of the way the algorithms are going, and the environmental impact of the huge digital universe that we have got, you've got to be seen to be counted nowadays. You cannot just sit on your laurels and say, well, we built a website 10 years ago and nothing's changed, so it works. You have got to be out there marketing yourself, because, as we just said, you know, there are 100 million more companies now that you are competing against, all doing the same thing that you do. And if you are not out there, optimizing your stuff and actively seeking those new customers, you're gone. They've left you in the dust. So it's really important that you've got to future-proof that business.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're fear mongering a little bit, like there's all these things that you need to do and we're not. Like it feels overwhelming. I sat yesterday and delivered an audit and a strategy back for conversion rate optimization to a client. And I could just see them being so overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that they could be doing. And I think that's the key. Like, yes, you could be doing this. If your business was massive and you had a full marketing team, you would be doing all these amazing things. But you haven't, not many of us have got that. So I think a lot of it is about prioritizing what is the real kind of pain points at the moment, being really realistic about where your customers are dropping off, kind of using the data to analyze where things could be improved, and then tweaking that and doing a little bit of that and then leaving that alone and then moving on to something else. And rather than thinking, right, I'm going to throw everything at it, do one thing and see if it works. And if it does, keep doing it. And if it doesn't, stop doing it. Like we said at the beginning, like with marketing, it is just about tweaking dials sometimes. And I think if you do everything all at once, then you don't know what to tweak. So rather than being kind of overwhelmed with it, just do a bit at a time and think, right, first things first, I'm a realist. I'm going to have to get these reviews sorted out. Then I need to get my Facebook sorted out. Then I need to get my Google sorted out, rather than thinking, shit, there's so much to do and I'm blown out the water if I don't do it.
It's absolutely about priorities. It's got to be. And social media is a perfect example, particularly if you are a small business. You can look at social media marketing and think, oh, I've got to be creating polls on Facebook, and I've got to be creating really compelling content on LinkedIn, and I've got to be making TikTok videos, and I've got to be photographing everything beautifully for Instagram. No, you don't. One of the first questions you need to ask yourself is, who is my target audience and where are they? Because chances are it's better to pick one channel and do it really well and really hone in on that target audience and create the content that they want to see than having a scattergun approach and trying to do everything. So one of the first things you need to ask is, all right, who is my audience? Where are they? What are their pain points? How do I speak to them? And it might be that you choose, I was reading an article yesterday, actually, which was, there's been a lot of shit thrown at email newsletters in recent years. Nobody opens them. It's a waste of time. You create these beautiful things and nobody looks at them. But actually, there's been a new study carried out on email newsletters, and they were saying that customers that receive an email newsletter from a company are 5 times more likely to buy from that company in the long run. It might take a while, but they're 5 times more likely to buy from that company, which is actually huge when you think about the margins that you work with in digital marketing. That's actually massive. So it might be that you say, actually, social media is not that relevant to me. I'm going to focus on doing a really great email newsletter campaign, or, so prioritize. And the things that you need to ask yourself around that are, what do you want to achieve? So what are your goals? What are you trying to do? Do you want to, and this, go granular on these. Don't just say, oh, I want business growth.
I want more business. Yeah.
Well, I want more customers. Be precise. How many customers do you want? What do you need them to be spending? What do those customers buy? So pin down that and really have some, and your goal might just be, I want more signups to my newsletter. I want more likes on Facebook. That might be it. So think about what your goal is. Think about what your resources are. So how much time have you got? What other capacity have you got within the team? Or could you employ a VA or somebody to help you out with this?
Or a digital marketing agency.
Yeah, but it's really, this is the thing as well, like you were saying, when you delivered that audit yesterday, and, this happens quite often, people are like, oh my God, I can't do all of that. Well, if you can't do all of that, be honest about that. Don't say, right, well, we're going to write a blog a month and we're going to do a blog a week. We're going to do 3 social media posts a day and blah, blah. And then people go off at great guns and then it all falls apart and they all feel like failures. We're back to that mindset again.
Yeah, this is so important. And that's what I was going to add on to the thing. When you say be realistic with your time, I think as well, be realistic with your skill set. not everyone is good at everything, and that's okay. Like, you go into business because you're good at the thing that your business is in, and if you know that writing a blog is going to be the fucking worst like hour of your life every week, don't do it, because it's going to be shit and you're going to hate it and you're not going to do it and you're not going to get consistency. But if you bloody love photography and taking amazing images, and Instagram is like your area, then go all guns out on that, and like pick one thing that you're really good at and go with that and see how it works. And if it really doesn't work, then fine, you might need to upskill. You might need to, concede, okay, it's blogging time, and learn how to do it properly, in which case you can come on our amazing Better Blogging courses. But as they say, don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And then, like that's the absolute, and what you said before as well, measure your success. Review what you are doing. Use analytics. Use the analytics platforms that come with the social media channels. Whatever it is, your own way of measuring things. But measure it and see how successful it is. And that is why it is really important to have a strategy. And that's why days like the Growth Traffic Roadshow are so helpful. Because what you actually do is sit down. Again, there's loads of data that proves this. That if you actually have a strategy and you set goals, you are much more likely to achieve those goals, because you've got something that you can go, oh, I did that. Whereas if you're never setting goals and you're never aiming for anything, you never know what you're doing. How do you know what success looks like? How do you know when you've achieved that thing? And again, that is again back to mindset. That's a huge thing for mindset, isn't it? To be able to tick things off and go, oh, well, actually, we said we were gonna, get 5,000 more followers on Facebook. We've got 6,000. So that's one, goal ticked off, and that helps. So it is absolutely about putting that strategy in place that is realistic, that is consistent, and that is measuring, and that has some really specific KPIs.
Specific, measurable, achievable, targeted, and realistic.
Yes, there you go. There's some nice buzzwords for you. So that's it. So that if you come on the Grow Traffic Roadshow, we go, all of that stuff is what we do. We go into a little bit more detail about the why and the how of digital marketing and what it means. If you're coming on the one with Gemma, you get a lot more information about that mindset, how you can improve your own mindset, how you can improve the mindset of your business and your staff. And then, as I say, we sit down and we have 3 questions on the digital marketing. We have 3 questions on the growth mindset side of things. And you sit with your workbook. One of us will be walking around and helping you, pin down what you need to do for your business and what you can realistically achieve, so that you come out of that with some actual goals and a bit of a plan, and you know what you're going to go and do next. And it should be really, really helpful. It should be really interesting.
It will be really, really helpful.
It will. And failing all that, there will be wine and beer. So,
not failing. There'll be no failing. There'll be success and growth.
Yes, absolutely. So we haven't set a date for our next, for the rescheduled roadshow yet, but we will be doing, it's very likely going to be in early May, just because of timings and Easter and all the rest of it. We didn't want to put it on in the Easter holidays. So probably it's going to be May. But in the meantime, we are also going to start organising the Yorkshire one, aren't we, Hannah?
Whoop, whoop. And I have a very interesting chap possibly lined up for the speaker slot. And he is a kind of he describes himself as a non-fluffy entrepreneur coach. So
amazing.
Kind of helps you look at your goals and why you're doing it. And he says, like, if you're the best, what does your best version of you look like? And then why aren't you turning up like that every day? So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. That ties in nicely as well, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. I've just remembered as well, Hannah, our good thing this week was that we were in Lancashire Live.
We were in Lancashire Live.
Yeah. I haven't got a copy. I went to Erin and I, because you couldn't come, Hannah, went to the lunch on Wednesday, which was at the Fence Gate in Burnley. So hosted by Lancashire Live. We met some awesome women there. Who I'm going to be getting in touch with, and I might even send them this video so they can watch it. But yeah, it was really, really good. It was a really, really nice day, and it was really quite it was a nice empowering thing to do on International Women's Day. So well done to us.
Well done to us. I am very proud of us for getting in that. I can't really find it now. But yes, I had to buy it online. But if any, here we go. if you would like to see us
There
in
we
Lancashire
are.
Live, which, you know, I
Yes.
was trying to explain Lancashire Life to the people in Yorkshire that are in my family, and they didn't get it. I was like, it's Tatler for Lancashire.
Yes. Yeah.
They didn't get the significance. There isn't a Yorkshire version, but if you're in Lancashire, you know the fuck what we're talking about. We're in
Absolutely. Yeah. So well done us. And on that note, that's it. We're off. Off to go and play in the snow. So
off to do some work.
Yes, thank you very much for watching this. If you are watching it back and you still would like to ask us a question, then please put it in the comments because we will still read them. I will put the link to the booking, Eventbrite booking link on the comments as well. So if you haven't booked onto the Roadshow and would like to come, you now have a second chance to come. And if you have booked onto the Roadshow, we're still going to send you this so that you can get a taster. If there is anybody that you know who you think would also benefit from this, please do invite them along. Because now we've got a little bit more time. We are hoping to even fill the room a little bit more. So that's good. Thank you very much. Have a lovely weekend. We'll see you soon.
Goodbye, everybody.